All right, we're live. Welcome, everybody. Let's let the world know. For those who are in here, let me know if you can hear me. All right. Cool. For those watching the replay or the recording, as always, skip 4 or 5 minutes ahead. We're going to let people trickle in, and we'll start in about 4 minutes. For those who are in here, let me know if you can hear me. Type a yes in the chat. Either one works. I hear myself echoing. Hey, BD. Hey, Mark. Right. Why am I echoing? Oh, there we go. All right, got it. Had another tab open for whatever reason. As always, we got 7 people in here so far. 2 likes. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the likes button. That is all I ask for these free trade recaps for you guys. Let's go to share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see my screen as well. As we wait for the other people to come in, how's everybody's day? Did you end green? Did you end red? Half and half? Should have just stayed in bed? What was the outcome? Must have been a rough day. All right, we have a good amount of people. We'll start a little early than usual, which I would definitely prefer because it's been a long week, to say the least. Hey, Maria. Up for the month, the past 2 weeks, very slight gains for today. Computer issues, called it quits. Smart man or woman definitely don't want to continue trading when issues are coming up technically, because that can be very bad. All right. So before we get started, my name is Advent. I am not a financial advisor. Anything we go over in today's class or any of my content is not financial advice. It is only for educational purposes only. Trading does have its risks, so please do your research before you engage in trading. As always, ladies and gentlemen, happy to be here. Happy to go over my trades and go over your trades. If you are new here, pretty straightforward on what we do. Every single Friday, we have the trade recap, 7 p.m. Eastern. I go over my trades. what I did, and then I'll look over your trades and give you feedback so we can continue to improve together. Before we officially start, we have about 12, 13 people in here, and we only have 4 likes. All I ask for is more than 50% participation. So if you have not hit the like button or the thumbs up button, please do so, and I will hang around until we do. So the little thumbs up button, the little like button on the video, just click that and we will start. Just a simple gesture. It's all I ask of you. No money, no reward, just a little thumbs up to get the engagement up. You traded once today. I should have traded once like you myself. I took about 2, 3 extra trades too many, honestly, which I'll go over in a bit. For those who are in here and you did not hear me, hit the thumbs up or the like button. Need at least 50% participation before I start, or I'll just hang out until that happens. Got 11 people and 5 likes. Gonna need at least one more. Interesting. From YouTube? Huh, good to know. So apparently you have to be on the actual YouTube app. If you're watching directly from Discord or whatever link I gave you, apparently the like button won't even show up, which is interesting. Didn't even know that. So if you're not on the YouTube app, go on YouTube real quick, hit the little like button, and then we'll go from there. In the meantime, I'll just look outside my window poetically. All right, 50% participation. Let's start. So today was OPEX. For those who don't know, I am going to make a new rule for myself that I'm not going to trade OPEX anymore. So usually for Fridays, I end red, which is why I use half my size, my position size. However, for OPEX, which lands on Fridays, I'm just not going to trade at all because today's price action was absolute garbage, at least for what I traded and how I trade, to be fair. If you made money how you usually do, shout out to you. That was definitely not me today, I'll tell you that. So the first trade that I took today, let's actually go to trading view so I can mark this off a little cleaner for you guys. So for those of you who know, I trade YM for futures. And my first trade, so we had the 4-hour trigger for the watch list. And this was the short trigger. All right, let's go here. Where is the market open? All right, market open candle right here. The first trade I took today was a 4-hour trigger to the upside. Every time I take this setup, my stop loss is 50 points. Actually, let me bring up this tool to just make it cleaner for us. My stop loss is 50 points, and I'm looking for at least 50 points minimum, which would have been right up here at 40,765. And then my max target is always 100 points for this specific setup. So just got shy of that 50-point target. It hit 40 points, which kind of worked out in my favor, where I have my ATM settings for the first half of the position If it's 40 points, it moves my stop loss to 25 points in profit. So the first half of my position got taken out in 25 points in profit, and then the second half got stopped out at 50 points because the second half of my trade, it gets stopped out, or my stop loss gets, or my auto break even rather, gets kicked in after I hit at least 50 points, which didn't happen today. So this was like a half winning, half losing trade. It did put me negative though, because the loser or the second half of the position was still more of a loss than the 25 points that I made on the first half. So that was like a loser slash winner as my first trade. I didn't take the 4 hour break to the downside, or did I? I can't remember. Actually, no, I did take the 4 hour trigger to the downside. That's what brought me green for that specific futures account. And then after that trade, I was done. I was like, all right, I'm not even going to bother trading this anymore. So that account I put to sleep. And then I got on my other futures account where I continued to trade YM. And the next trade that I took on that second account was this doji hammer off this broadening formation. So I went long as soon as it broke above this level right there. My first target was this candle high, and then second target was pretty much the day's high. My stop loss was 50% of this candle here. So that looks something like this. Let's go on the 15-minute. Let's get rid of that. And then where's my fibs? So my stop loss for this specific trade, once I entered in up here, was 50% of this hammer. So as you can see, price came down, stopped me out by about 2 points, and then it went in my favor. I was definitely salty about this trade because I basically caught the low reversal of the day, and it pretty much kept on going to heaven. 200 points from my entry, and hit my two targets that I had. So definitely was a little upset about that trade. It is what it is. Can't control that. Followed my process as I usually do. However, what I could have done is I could have taken this Momo hammer right here. So we printed this inside bar hammer. I could have taken this next candle right over here. Excuse me. I could have taken this trade right here, entry, of course, to hit that target over there. My stop loss, excuse me, for the Momo hammer trades are always the bottom of the hammer. So in this trade, I would have used the bottom of the setup candle as my stop loss right here. And then, of course, the next candle high, which would have been right there, which this candle hit right here. So about 45 minutes later, would have made profit. But I did not take it. That was a good one, though. So besides that trade, that's pretty much what I did for futures today. It is what it is. Ended red on one account, ended green on another. Monday's another day. Can't be mad at that. For options, let's go back to Thinkorswim. For options, I was looking at Tesla today. It gapped down, came back up, and then triggered a 3-up. I didn't get into this trade for the 3-up because I was too busy looking at YM. It would have been a great trade, I'll tell you that. When I was looking at it, it triggered long, hit the first target, and then it came back to entry. So if I would have gotten into that trade, it would have taken my the remainder of my position back out at break even once it reversed back to entry. But then it continued going higher, hitting the second. And I think it might have hit the third target that I had. But nonetheless, I didn't take it. What I ended up taking was a 3 down on IWM, and that trade was garbage because the market didn't do anything once it got triggered me in. It went sideways for about like an hour, hour and a half, and I was like, I'm done for the day. So I just took it off at like 17% profit, which wasn't anything crazy. And then I just called it a day there. All in all, pretty whatever day, honestly. Um, like I mentioned, ended green on one futures account, red on another, and then barely made anything on my options account. And that's pretty much it. What I learned today is that I will not be trading OPEX because I hate the slow side to side movements. And just overall, today wasn't necessarily an easy day to trade, at least for the tickers that I chose to trade, to be fair, and the way I trade. You guys have any questions on that before I get into your trades? Yeah, Isaiah, it's definitely a little slow and choppy today. How many point stop loss do you use for futures or candle stop loss? Vor, that really depends. Like I just showed you, for that specific 4 hour trade, I always use 50 point stop loss. Every other trade is really up to the individual. You can use a setup candle. You can use the trigger candle as your stop. 50% of the previous candle if you're using the strat. Whatever you're most comfortable with. Cool. So that's pretty much all I have on my end for my trades. What is OPEX? I looked up the definition, but did not see a particular event or announcement. So OPEX, for those who don't know, OPEX, it stands for options expiration. What that means is this is the day that the monthly contracts for options expire. So you're going to see either a lot of volatility or sometimes a lot of nothing, like today. The way you can tell what OPEX date is just keep it super easy and simple. If you go to the options chain, as we can see here, you can go on anyone. It doesn't really matter as far as I know. Whatever does not say weekly, that's OPEX. So options expiration, this is pretty much the monthly contract. So today, today's was OPEX for August. So this is the monthly contract that expired today. Then the next one is going to be September 20th, then October 18th, November 15th, December 20th, so on and so forth. So if you're using Thinkorswim, whatever is not yellow, whatever is gray, that's OPEX. Whatever is weekly is just weekly expirations. So something to keep in mind. I did notice things slowed down going choppy after the start of the 3rd hour, at least for what I trade also. Yeah, it definitely wasn't anything crazy today. There was some individual stocks from what I saw in other groups that I support where, there was really good moves. But, the ones that I got in, nothing really happens. What about choosing targets after gap up or downs and there's no clear target and you got to zoom way out? Closest candle on the hour/day. That's up to you. Like I mentioned, you can use the ATR to get additional targets. If you use fibs, anything like that, whatever can help you get different targets for that. I took a SPY call, 15-minute 2 up at 11:40. Let's go to SPY. So it looks like you got in somewhere. It would have been in this candle where you got in. So looks like you got in on this 2 up, on this 3-2 up. The first target would have been there. Second target would have been there. But I think you said you got in. You got out early, actually. Question for you: why did you get scared? What scared you from what you were seeing that got you scared out the trade? Does the strat work on NQ? The strat works on anything. You just have to be very, very, very picky when you're trading futures with the strat. Desperation, something I have to work on, and I mentioned to you. Desperation in the sense of like being impatient. Do you mean like that type of desperation? Like you were desperate for it to just go quickly? What time frame works best on NQ using the strat? Great question. And I forgot to set up the ground rules for this for before we got this call. This specific class is specifically to go over my trades and your trades and for me to give you feedback. If you ask questions like what time frame or strategy or things outside of the realm of what we're talking about today, you're welcome to use the super chat or you're welcome to book a session because people book me for questions like that to give them guidance on strategy. And it wouldn't be fair for people to just come here for free and me answer for free. So if you do want me to answer a question that's not on topic of the class today, you can use a super chat or you can book a session or you can join us for this Sunday on the Let's Learn series at 8 p.m. Eastern, where you can ask me those type of questions and I'll answer. Your score. Oh, perfect. All right. Thanks for clearing that up, Maria. You were scared to lose the money that you made on the other trade. So to give you some feedback there, like I always mention, if the chart got you in, we're trading the chart. We're not trading the P&L because your P&L didn't get you into the trade. The chart did. So if you haven't already, as I told you before, turn off your P&L first and foremost. Second, once you get into the trade, set your alerts and just wait. If you start to get emotional, first, you shouldn't even be looking at the chart if it gets you emotional. Because once you get in the trade, your job as a trader, you're done. You don't need to do anything else. You're good to go. All you need to do is wait now. So if you start to get emotional and like, oh, it might take away the profit that I made and this and this and that, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Because I think I mentioned this in a class that I had for another group last weekend, or maybe it was for my class, I forget. But when we're in an uncomfortable situation, in your case, when you were in profit, your brain was trying to soothe and calm itself down because it didn't want the pain of having green go red or you losing some of the money that you made already, right? So what your brain does is to reduce the pain of potentially having a losing trade is it's like, all right, we need to get out of this trade right now. What if the market takes away the green and it goes red? All right, so boom, you get out the trade. Ah, now I'm relaxed. Now I'm calm. I'm not going crazy because the market might take my money. But what hurts more than that is when you get out of a trade, and as we can see here, it went to your target. So you always need to remember that that is your brain playing tricks on you because it doesn't want to feel the pain, and it's going to do whatever it has to do to get you out of that uncomfortable situation. Remember, we need to build the trader's mind, as Randy Howell always told me, because if we bring the human mind to trading, we're going to get into trouble like what happened to you today, where your human brain scared you out of a good trade. Where the trader knows, hey, I got in here, now I just need to wait. That's my only job right now. It's either going to hit my stop loss or it's going to hit my target. That's it. Nothing else for me to do until it does one or the other. So, turn off your P&L. Don't look at that. Always remember that each trade is unique. I can't take a trade. What you don't want to do is, let's say, for the sake of the conversation, you ended $100 red yesterday. Then you took a trade today and you're up $100, but it hasn't hit your target yet. And in your head, you're like, all right, if I close this trade right now, I would make back the loss that I had yesterday. Remember, every single day is a new day. We cannot bring what happened yesterday to today, because what can happen is you take those $100. Yeah, sure, you're at break even now from yesterday, but what if it goes $300? So you miss an additional $200 that you could have made being stuck on what happened yesterday, as opposed to what's happening right now today. So always remember that each trade, each day is a different trading day. Whatever happened yesterday is irrelevant. Today is its own unique day. So keep that in mind. And yeah, we'll definitely talk more tomorrow on our one-on-one. Mine that got stopped out was at 11:15 PST, 22 rev on the 5-minute on MES. Let's check that out. Oh, wait, whoa, today? Oh yeah, that long on ES would have been a losing one. The retest was nice though. All right, 11:15 PST. What's that? That's 3 hours behind from Eastern. It's what, 2:15? Uh, so this one. Did you get it on this candle? This one right here? After this little doji? That candle? That's the one you got in on? Let's see. Waited for a TTO to get in. Personally, this is a really disgusting looking TTO. Well, one, it wasn't really a TTO because it never broke high a day. A 2-2 rev is a 2-2 reversal. So this was bearish, 2 down, bullish reversal. 2 down, 2 up, bullish reversal. 2-2 rev. So let's see. Depending where you had your stop loss, well, hold on. Oh yeah, this probably would have stopped me out. Let's see. So if we got in on this candle, and let's just say for the sake of if your stop loss was under this, the set of the trigger candle, and let's say your first target was here, this would have been a winning trade, because this candle, while it did come down, it wouldn't have stopped you out. And then these candles eventually hit the target, at least one of the targets up here at this candle high for 4.5 or 4.75 points. Did you win that trade, Vor, or did you lose it? Also, Cameron, at least I'm assuming that's how you pronounce her name. Have you looked at any of the strat material? It stopped at the bottom of the entry candle. Gotcha. So I'm going to assume, since we're just looking at, already data that finished. So if you got in here and then price, like the same candle came down and stopped you out, then yeah, it is what it is. Can't really control that. Let's see. For specific setups, if the stop loss wouldn't be too bad, for like the trigger candle as a stop, I'll use that personally. Like in this case, with the smaller time frames, it can be a little challenging. You might get stopped out a little more frequently than you would like. So for a setup like this, I probably wouldn't take it, at least in this context. But if it would, let's say if it was like a proper TTO that I prefer, I probably would have used the bottom of the trigger candle as my stop, the bottom of the setup candle as my stop, as opposed to the trigger candle, just to give it a little more room. Gotcha, Cameron. All right, so let me get Cameron this information real quick. So, Cameron, if you are new to the channel, I pretty much have the strategy laid out, or at least the strategy that I use in this playlist that I'll post in the chat. It's in the strat playlist on my channel. So if you're on my page and you go to, actually, let me go to see what you guys see, since this is what I see. Let's go here. So if you go to my channel, if you go to playlists, the strategy that I use is over here, the strat. All the components and the strategy is in there. If you want to learn more so on how I use it, the Trader Circles recordings have that. The Let's Learn series have that. And also the trade recaps, what we do here, can give you insight on the trades that I take and such. Sweet. So yeah, definitely go through that material. If you need the ebook as well, just email me at ceruleanmindacademy@gmail.com and I'll send that over to you. Also, if you email me and you don't have it already, I'll send you the Candlestick Bible as well, just so you can get like fundamentals of like technical analysis. So Cerulean, actually, let me just type it in the chat. Yeah, just email me and then I'll send it to you when I'm done with this call here, or this class. But yeah, Vor, I would just use the trigger candle, or sorry, the setup candle as my stop loss, just to make it easier. Wasn't really anything crazy today, even on the 15-minute, at least for MES that I would have taken personally. Maybe this shooter candle right here and taking that down. Actually, I'm not sure if TradeMaker is in here, but he told me that he took a kid and play setup on the 5-minute, which worked beautifully, which we have right here. I would prefer this wick here to be smaller, but I'll accept it. So what TradeMaker did was, for the kid and play setup, we pretty much have 2 candles side to side. The body is pretty much flat, or as flat as possible, with a short wick or no wick. I prefer almost no wick on the green candle, and then a long wick on the red candle. Your entry is pretty much a regular strat setup, so you take the 2 down right here. My stop loss for this setup is the body of the red candle right here. And then you can just take profit every previous candle low as it goes in your favor. And this one hit like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 targets. It gave you 12.75 points if you took it, if you had any runners anyway. But yeah, if I took this, I would have been super done. For those who are in the Discord, if you want to see the write-up for this, if you're in my group and you go to playbook setups, if you go to right here, the kid and play, I have it pretty much outlined on exactly what to look for this specific setup. If you're in 100K's Discord, if you go to the futures trade setups, if you go to the very top, did I update it? Yeah, updated the kid and play setup here, and then I have some other of my setups here as well. But yeah, that would have been a nice one for MES. But I don't trade ES anymore, so I just stick to YM. All right, let's see. Isaiah took a 3-2 down on RTY at 6:25 a.m. How much is MES a point? Ashley, it's $5 a point, and there's 4 ticks in a point. Like I think NQ is 4 ticks in a point as well. So it's $5 a point. Cameron asked, these setups work for stocks too? So Cameron, the strat is universal. It works for anything. You can use it for futures, stocks, options, crypto, Forex. It really doesn't matter, honestly. I've used it for everything. Just for some things, other time frames are better than others. Let's see. So Isaiah took a 3-2 down on RTY. At 6:25 a.m. Is that Eastern, PST, Central Time, Mountain Time? I'm on the East Coast. Just so I can see exactly which one you took down. Looking at the time frame you mentioned, in Alaska, -1. Interesting. So it looks like, excuse me, looks like you took this trade right here, this 3-2 down. So let's see. I jumped out at 21:44 when the 1 minute bull rev at 36:35. All right, so we're gonna see this side by side on 2 different time frames. And then the first target is, let's just use the body here as a target. All right, let's see. On the 5 minute. All right, so good entry, good execution. Your not your problem, but your issue on this trade is that you switch to the 1 minute. If you're on the 5 minute, we have no business going on a lower time frame and getting shaken out of that move. That's like me going on the 4 hour and then seeing a 5 minute reverse and getting shooken out of a 4 hour trade because the 5 minute reversed. You're going to get reversals all the time on the lower time frames. So what I would have done on this trade, first of all, I would not even trade anything under the 5 minute for the strat, especially for futures. There's too much noise. Because as we can see here, you got in basically at a super solid point on the 3-2 down. And based on the 5 minute, your first target was down here, either at the body or the wick. And you got out basically 2 points later. What was that? Yeah, pretty much like 5 minutes later, you got out on this candle for like 2 points profit. When you could just stayed in the trade until it hit one of the targets, which is about 20, 15, 20 minutes later. So great execution, poor choice in going to the lower time frame and getting shaken out of that trade. So it's just something to keep in mind for next time. Don't look at the 1 minute, especially if you're taking a trade on a higher time frame than that one, because again, there's no reason to go on a lower time frame for that. So, like I mentioned, great trade execution wise. Just remember for next time, don't go on a lower time frame when you do enter that trade, because this would have been an easy 6 points, 6.3 points to be exact. If you took it to the wick, about 7 points, and you got yourself out short for about 2 points when you got out at 2:144 around there. But yeah, learning process. Great job on taking the trade. I'll tell you that. That was a great entry. Very, very nice. Hey, welcome, Rio. But yeah, Isaiah, remember, learning process. I made similar mistakes when I first learned the strat. We'll improve little by little. Random question: how do you get recruited by Discord services to offer your services? Great question, Bor. So some groups. So sometimes I'll post my watch list like once a week, either on Reddit or I'll post it like on StockTwits, and like some other Discord owners would message me like, hey, can you have a class in my group? Can you post your watches in there as well? Sure. We'll come up with a deal that works for both of us, and then that's how I support them. Some other groups that I support, like my mentor groups, I was just in there, so learning from them. So I just support them just off principle and gratitude. But for other groups that I didn't like start with or learn from, they just message me, either seeing me from other groups, seeing me on Reddit, or seeing me on StockTwits, whatever it may have been, and then they'll just message me and we'll go from there. This has been my first week, my first time trading the strat. I have been a trendline trader only. Some success, but I thought for the futures the strat might be better. Cool. Yeah, so, you know, in my opinion, I like the strat because it's just based on price action. And, anything works when it comes to trading. Trendline trading, ICT, Wyckoff, EMA traders, all that stuff. To me, the strat has just been the most efficient and the simplest way, right? So for me, the strat just makes it easier for me. While of course I do take, well, I wouldn't say that I take ICT setups. More so, I use ICT as confluence for some trades in the sense of like a cherry on top, right? So let's say for the sake of the conversation, uh, let's go on the 15 minutes, see if I can find an example for you guys. Let's use electronic hours. So let's just say this TTO example right here, right? We have move up, push down. Oh, whoops, that is the wrong tool. So we have a TTO here on the 15-minute and RTY. We get the push up, the push down, then the reversal back up. And then it breaks the high and continues higher. Strat wise, I'm going to take this no matter what because that's a super clean TTO. We get the pushback. I would prefer a hammer, or it could really be any reversal back into continuity. So you go long as soon as this candle breaks up. My stop loss would be down here. What I mean about using ICT for more confluence, for ICT traders, you already know that price came back down into this fair value gap right here. So if I wanted to, I could be like, all right, cool. Price is bouncing off this fair value gap, and then I'm going to take the reversal back up strat wise. So here I have, additional confluence for that trade. Can you quickly explain fair value gaps? I see that used everywhere. I don't trade ICT like I mentioned. I know of it. I don't necessarily know what fair value gaps necessarily mean. So I'm not going to really answer the question. All I know is what they look like. So if you get a big candle like this, you take the bottom, for a bullish one, you take the top wick of the previous candle and then the bottom wick, and then that empty space is the fair value gap. If we look at this red candle here, there's this wick, there's that wick, there's a little fair value gap in there that it created. I don't really know what the idea or the concept is behind it. I just know what it looks like. If you are in my group, or if you're in 100K's group, we have a chart and chill session where there's a lot of ICT traders in there. You can ask in there if you want to. But yeah, or YouTube videos. Again, I don't trade ICT like that. I just know of its concepts, so I can't really answer that question properly. Still learning about the time frame continuity. Yeah, Isaiah, definitely review the time continuity video that I have. I did my best to explain it as best as I could there. Of course, if you have more questions on it, this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna have a Let's Learn series or Let's Learn class where you could pretty much ask me anything. So 8 p.m. Eastern this Sunday. Cool. Any other trades that you guys want me to look over? Could be options, regular stock, futures. Doesn't matter, honestly. If you are going to give me a trade to review, please provide me with this information. So if you're going to give me an options trade, give me this info. If you're going to give me a futures trade, give me this info right here. Yeah, Cameron, if you add the Strat Assistant to your chart, it's gonna look ugly. Like it's gonna have like the colors are gonna change. So I just turned that off. The 2 bar, it just shows you if it's a 2 up or 2 down. You can keep that on if you're new, just so you can get it, like, so you can see visually if it's a 2 up or down. I already know if it's a 2 up or down, so I just keep that there. Everything else I keep there anyways, since I don't even look at that, but that's how I have mine set up. And I don't have the previous day high and low marked off. You can if you want to. I just personally don't have that set up there. I like my charts as clean as possible. But yeah, any other trades that you guys want me to look at? Yeah, like Maria mentioned, definitely have regular trading hours, because with the strat, we do not trade extended hours, only regular hours. Check out PL. This is primarily what I trade. Platinum. Let's go here. Why is my chart not loading up? There we go. The daily on it for Wednesday is what I took. I bought in for 2 at 9:30. TP was 9:41. Hit it and kept running to 969.90 on the daily. What was that? You said on Wednesday? You bought in for 2 at 9:30? I am a little confused. So if we're looking at the daily, did you take a short? No, it looks like it was a long trade. So I'm a little confused about this, because if you took this off the daily, then unless you mean you took the Thursday candle 2 up. Did you enter in on Wednesday or did you enter in on Thursday? Because you said you got in the trade at 9. You bought in for 2 at 9:30. So I'm a little confused here, just so we're on the same page. Did you go long at 9:30 on the price? Price was 9:30 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And then this was the Wednesday candle. So you pretty much bought over here. All right, what I'm confused about is what setup did you take? Like, what was the setup for this specific trade? Trend reversal, bottom of the candle for the day. Um, yeah, I'm a little confused here. Were you using the strat or were you using something else to get into this trade? Because if you got in long over here, based on the daily candle, I would definitely not enter this because this is a three down. And not only that, I wouldn't enter there. If you got in the trade at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, that's after hours. We wouldn't, as strat users, we wouldn't even take that trade because the market's closed for us. It is a dirty W though. Nice W all the way back up. With the hammer, that would have been a nice one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't really give guidance on that trade if it's like with your trend line reversal model. If it worked for you, hey, great stuff. That was a really good one, I'll tell you that. You pretty much got the bottom for 11 points. What's platinum give? $5 a tick, and there's 10, so $50 a point. That was a nice trade. 550 bucks per contract. I would have been a happy man. Only $4,000 for margin for one. For one? Hmm. Interesting. It was a 311 on the hourly on Wednesday. A 311. I'm not seeing any 311s here. Let's check it on Thinkorswim. Wednesday was the 14th. Yeah, I don't see any 311 on my chart. Yeah, even after hours, which is what I have down here, I don't see any 311. But whatever it was, hey, great job. The trade went well. It went 311, then 312. Let's see. So more than likely, you got in over here. Actually, no. Well, no, this still doesn't make sense because if you got in Wednesday after hours at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, there still isn't any three candles around here. There's only a 2, 1, and then a 2. So it might have been 211, and then it went 212 up, which is near the 30 level that you were mentioning. I see here, this is about what, 8 o'clock? Is that 8 o'clock? No, 6 o'clock. It was a 3-1, and then it probably went 2 up and then 3 down and kind of just chopped for a while. Yeah, so if you got in like 4:30, like your time, you got in somewhere over here, like in during Asia session around 9:30. So it's like a 3-1-2, and then it became a three, and then another three. You pretty much caught the bottom. So that was a good one. And if you missed that entry, it gave you a Momo hammer setup right here. Even though the Momo hammer, I would want the candle prior to it to be a little bigger, but there's a little pullback into a hammer. You take that up too. Boom. But yeah, still a good trade. I'm just biased. Again, you can use the strat for after hours if you want to. One of my mentors does. I just personally don't because I like to sleep and I only trade the New York session. But you can use it on extended hours if you want to. You would just have to collect data to see what works best for you. What specific time frames, what specific setups, what specific time, so on and so forth. But yeah, otherwise, good trade. It was a dirty W that I would have taken in a weird way. We get the push down, the reversal, and then the move back up. Yeah, Cameron. So the strat in and of itself is explained in the playlist for the Momo hammer. If you go to the playlist and then you go to playbook setups, in this channel, I have the Momo hammer and the Momo shooter and what that looks like. I have some of my setups listed here. Oh, whoops, I gotta bring my screen back. Hey, Isaiah, let me ask you a question. Do you journal at all, or do you keep a collection of your trades in a journal, whether a physical one or online one? Sounds good, Cameron. And Cameron, whatever questions you have, you can make note, and then you can come ask me on Sunday at 8 p.m. when we have our next live class, where people can ask me anything. So yeah, Isaiah, do you journal your trades at all, either physically in a notebook or on, like an online trading journal? And while I'm waiting for him to answer, for those who are in here, if you do journal your trades, give me a yes or a no in the chat. No, I have not. I meant to start doing that this week. Thinkorswim has been my go-to for looking at my trades. Gotcha. Definitely start getting, writing down your journals and stuff, or your journal, or journaling your trades rather, because we need to collect data to learn and see what works best for us. Like for me, based on my journaling, I make most of my money in the New York session in the first half of the day, usually in the first hour of the day. So that's where I focus most of my energy and my time. I don't trade the afternoon session at all unless I see a W setup or W model setting up. Other than that, I just trade the morning and that's it. I usually, and on most good days, I don't trade more than an hour, more than, not even like more than half an hour, really. So, after you collect data for a good 2 weeks, a month, you can see, all right, where am I making most of my money at? And which specific setups are working best for me? For example, let me see if I can show you guys an example here. Who did I send this to? Who did I send this to? Hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to find the combo I had with somebody. Maybe just a screenshot on my computer. Hold on, let me look for this real quick. All right, I gotta clean up my desktop because I took a billion screenshots this week. Cool, there we go. All right, so this was a screenshot I took yesterday of some of my trades. So I use TraderSync to pretty much upload all my trades, and I have in the setup section where I label all of my trades. So I know which specific trades I took and which specific model or what specific setup it was. So this right here was definitely a learning lesson because this was not my setup and I took that trade anyway. And as you can see, I lost. So I had to add a new setup category titled Not Your Setup because I haven't done this in a long time as a reminder to myself. So, I like to use this as a way to keep track of my trades to see which specific setups work well, which ones don't work well, stuff like that. And then I can easily just go back to my journal and just see what works and what doesn't work. So definitely keep a trading journal if you don't have one. If you do need a online trading journal, I'll post the TraderSync link in the chat in a bit. They give you a 7-day free trial. I pay for it, it's $180 a year for the pro version. After you let the 7-day free trial run out, they'll give you 50% off, which is what they give me. So I only pay $180 a year, which is well worth it in my opinion, for what the information that you will learn from yourself and from your trades. So for those who are not journaling, that's a good one that I like to use. If you don't know what to journal, I did have a class on this. I think it's in the Trading Psychology Mindset playlist. Yeah, journaling. So pretty much had like an hour class on journaling and what exactly to journal. So if you don't even know what to journal, definitely watch that video. It will give you insight in almost excruciating detail on what to journal to collect information to improve you as a trader. I'm still trying to figure out how to create my entries on Thinkorswim automated, but when I put in the trade, I get errors because the buy-ins are too high or too low from the current price. Did I have a class on that? I don't think I had a class on that video, but Isaiah, if you go to, it might be in the trainings and walkthrough. Order types and their uses. I go over the different order types that you can use to get in, and I use Thinkorswim as reference. So you can watch that video for some guidance on like how to put in the trade and stuff. Of course, if you're still having issues, definitely, join me on Sunday, and you and I can go side by side and set it up for you to give you insight. Or of course, you're welcome to book a session with me. But yeah, order types and their uses. I should have it in there on the Thinkorswim, how to place the future trades, since I was going over future trades in there. Chart SMCI. Chris, that is not what this class is for. We're only going over my trades and your trades. If you want me to chart SMCI, you're more than welcome to use the super chat, because that is not what this session is for. If you want me to go over things that are not tied to this session, you're more than welcome to come to my class on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, which I'll definitely chart it then, but not today. All right. Any other trades that you guys want me to look over? It could be options, futures, doesn't matter, honestly. And if you're going to give me a trade to review, give me this information so I can better navigate the trade with you. Yeah, give me this info. If it's an option trade, give me this info. If it's a future trade, give me that info. Sounds good, Isaiah. We'll be looking forward to have you join us. And for those who are not in the Discord and would like to join, I just posted the chat or the link in the chat. $25 one time to get in, lifetime access. Never have to pay again. And as a friendly reminder, as I always do sometimes, if you're not in the group by January 2025, I'm going to turn that one-time payment into a subscription for a monthly payment of 25. So whoever gets in before January of next year for the $25 one-time payment, you will never pay again. You'll be grandfathered in for free forever. And if you are in my group and you want your friends to join in, now's definitely the time to do so. All right, so it looks like there aren't any more trades you guys want me to look at. And if you are typing, it might just be delayed for me seeing it. Before we wrap up today's class, what was everybody's biggest takeaway, or what was the biggest thing that you learned today? Yeah, real. Definitely got in there early. Be patient and don't move away from my time chart. Yep, definitely patience is a big one. And like I mentioned, if you are on the 5 minute, don't go down to the 1 minute and get shaken out. I learned that you're an amazing person. Does that count? That definitely counts. I appreciate you saying that, Cameron. Also, Cameron, where do you find me at? Was it Reddit, another Discord group, a random YouTube video? How did you find me? I'm always curious. Ah, in the Divine group. Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, that group is super fun. Sweet. Any other takeaways that we have before we wrap up and go enjoy our Friday and turn our brain off for the next 2 days? I'll give it another minute and then we'll just wrap up from there. I do Amazon, FBA, and FBM. I ultimately joined it to find other reselling opportunities. Stocks have always piqued my interest though, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Cool. Yeah, one thing that I love about stocks or like trading in general is, you can use it as another way to, make money aside from your regular job. There's this like squirrel that's like on the edge of this building. He's about to fall off. Interesting. Anyway, got distracted. So yeah, what I love about trading is that you can use it to supplement your income of even your regular job, or if you want, of course, to go like the full-time trader route, it's a good tool or segue for that. For me, when I was working at my old job, I was tired of it, honestly, and I wanted to go down the full time trader path, which is what I'm doing now. Some feedback from being a full time trader for those who want to do that. Understand that you have to pay for your own insurance. So if you have a family, I'm chilling because it's just me. I don't have a family to take care of. But if you have a family, kids, wife, all that stuff, that gets expensive, which is like 15 to like 2,000 a month, probably more depending on how much coverage you want. So keep that in mind, insurance that you're gonna be paying for out of pocket. Also, you should probably get some hobbies because it gets really, really, really boring. You know, when I have great days, I'm done in 30 minutes. Sometimes I'm done in 10 minutes. So, have hobbies and things to do because it can get extremely boring. Um, any other things that I'll mention about it? Ooh, what I love about trading too is, in my opinion, it's one of the most scalable businesses because let's just say I made $100,000 last year and I want to make double. In theory, if the market gives you the same opportunities and the same trades, I just need to double my position size, and now I'm making double that I made last year. And if I want to make triple, then I literally just triple my position size. What I would make a note about that though is that you don't want to just double your size just because, right? You want to slowly compound and build your account where you eventually, let's say if I'm using $2,000 and I'm using $200 per trade, and then I get to $4,000, now I'm using $400 per trade, which now my position size is doubled. So, don't just like double your position size just because. You still want to compound your account and, go from there. Because if you jump from like 200 to 400 overnight, you may not be you may not be ready for that mentally and emotionally and psychologically. So, something to keep in mind. Um, if I were to do it again from the beginning, I would probably keep like a part-time job if I can even find one that gives me like 2 or 3 days working at that job, and then I could just trade the rest of the days because I love human interaction and it can definitely get a little boring and lonely, especially if you move out of state, which is what I did. So I just moved down to Florida. I have some friends down here and my dad, but the rest of my family and my cousins and my other friends are just back in New York. So it can be pretty boring to say the least. So make sure to have hobbies. But yeah, you know, and even like being a full-time trader and stuff, if that is your goal, you can always, venture out and do other things. So my goal right now is 2% of my account a day. So about $20 for now until my account grows. Since you are new to trading, Cameron, the last thing I'll just say this last thing and then we'll wrap up because if you let me, I'm going to continue talking because this is like a whole nother can of worms that I don't want to open up right now. So your goal as a new trader should just be studying and paper trading. You should not be using real money at all. I've been teaching my cousin from scratch. He didn't know anything 3 months ago. Now he's taking his trades by himself without any guidance from me, even though we talk every day. But for him, the first 2.5 months, all I did with him, we just studied and we paper traded and executed. And then once I saw that he was consistent in paper trading, then I allowed him to go with live, with actual money. And you always want to remember that as a trader, the money comes from um, the money comes from the system that you develop and your setups. So always remember that it's about the setups and the system. It's never about the money because if you get blinded by the money, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. That happened to me, happened more times than I would admit. I'll admit it. It happened for like 7 months straight. I was just red, being an idiot, focusing on the money and not on my system. So focus on the money. Focus on the system and your disciplines and your rules, and you will do fine. Yeah, and you can go the route Maria mentioned too. You can watch all the videos, and then you can schedule a one-on-one with me, and then we'll get to the meat of everything. Other than that, thank you guys for coming out. I love doing this stuff. I love helping you guys, and helping us all win together. I will see you guys for the next one. Remember, on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna have the Let's Learn with Advent series, 8 p.m. Eastern, where you can ask me anything you want. So yeah, we will reconvene then. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. And for those who are in my group or in 100K's group, we have the Chart and Chill session tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, privately in the Discord group. So if you are in the Discord groups, that link will be dropped. Well, it's already there, but the link will be dropped at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Chart and Chill session. So I will see you guys then, and enjoy your, well, not Sunday, enjoy your Friday. I'll see you guys later.